Welcome students. Today's class we are going to start with the new chapter we are going to start, that is cell. Okay, so complete this unit, that is will come under unit 3, chapter number 8. There is no deletion of any topic in 8, 9, 10th. Okay. So all the chapters are very important. There is no deletions of any subtopics in these chapters also. So coming to the, let's start with the cell, that is the unit of life. Okay. Almost coming to the introduction. Coming to the introduction of the cell, the unit of life. So here, as you know that each and every living organisms are made up of what? They are made up of the cells. Okay. So cells are the structural functional unit of all living organisms. Right? So here the cell is what? The cell is a very important characters which are present in the living organisms. Okay, cell is present in all living organisms which are present in the form of either unicellular or it may be present in the form of multicellular, unicellular as well as the multicellular. Usually cells are the structural and even functionally made. If you see this, what will be the function? So its main function, they are independent and they are associated with the functioning of the cell will main is what? Its function. So coming to the cell have two types. Some organisms have, based on the presence of the cell having, some organisms have only one cells. They are grouped and we will call it as unicellular. And if they have many cells, more than two, then they are considered to be as multicellular cells. Okay, based on the number of cells, the living organisms are grouped into two types, unicellular as well as the multicellular organisms cells. Okay, organisms are, by this we can divide, because the animals are grouped. Okay, in today's days we are seeing that animals are grouped in different way. So in that, cell is also one of the character. Okay, so based on number of cells we are dividing the organisms. Right, next. So this, if we take the cell was discovered by, so the cell was discovered by Robert Hooke. Okay, the cell is discovered by Robert Hooke, and the first live cell was seen by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. So Anton von Leeuwenhoek was the first person to see the live cell, and the word coined, usually the word coined the cell by the Robert Hooke also. And next, they are, after the invention, later the cell inside the cell, what are the compound, what are the particles present inside the cell was also invented when microscope and electron microscope have invented. So when these are invented, so this was helpful to see the different parts, different particles in cell. It made helpful, it made easy to see what all components are present inside the cell. Okay, so this is introduction part. So in introduction we have studied cells are the structural functional unit of living organisms, and they are cells. Some organisms have made up of only one cell. One cell will perform all the functions which we have already studied in the biological classifications and the unicellular, multicellular and all. And the multicellular are higher organisms, complex organisms which have more number of cells, which forms tissues, organs, etc. And these cells was discovered and coined by the term Robert Hooke. Line cells was first seen by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Next, further studies of the cell is made easy when the microscope and electron microscope has been invented. Right? Next, coming to the next topic, very important topic, that is the cell theory. Next, coming to the cell theory. So, that is the scientist Matthias Claudin. Okay, Matthias Claudin in 1938. Okay, one more, I'll write all the three. That is Theodor Schwann, okay. That is another, that is Virchow, that is Rudolf Virchow. So these are the scientist name, okay? Scientist name. These are the scientist name 1838, 39, 1855. During this time, first let us see Matthias. He observed that, so according to Matthias, what he told is, according to him, Sheldon, okay, so especially Matthias, Sheldon, Theodor Schwann, Rudolf Virchow, okay, so three of them has worked or they have explained about the cell theory. See, in 1838, it was a new topic, that is inventing the cell. They don't know anything about the cell here. So once they came to know, they started giving and working on cell theory, what it is. So their opinion. Nowadays we have advanced and we have came to know what all present in the cell. But we are talking long back in 1838, where they just came to know cells are there. Okay, it means different scientists will be having different opinions, which we are going to discuss. Okay. Malthus Sheldon. So Malthus Sheldon observed that all plants are composed of different kinds of cells. All what he is telling, all plants are composed of different type of cells. Different type of cells. Okay, what according to him? These are made up of, all plants are made up of what? Different types, means their opinion. According to Malthus, what he is telling? All plants having different type of cells. Okay. Second, that is Theodore Schwann. According to Schwann, he reported that cells have a thin outer layer. According to Schwann, thin outer layer is present, which nowadays we are going to call it as plasma membrane. Thin outer means, according to Schwann, he is telling that cell is there. Cell is having a thin outer covering. Now what we are calling that outer covering? That is plasma membrane. Okay. We are going to call as a plasma membrane. So again, according to Schwann, he is telling that this plant cell has unique character. He also found that plant have unique character. What is that unique character? That is unique character, presence of cell wall. Especially plant have cell wall. Yes, he was correct, because in plant we can see cell wall, which is a unique character, which is playing a very important role. That is the layer. That is what? That is done by the unique character of plant cells. Okay. He also proposed the hypothesis that the bodies of animals and plants are composed of cells and product of cells. So again, according to Schwann, he concluded that not only the cell wall, which is a unique character of the plant cell, okay, of the plant cell has a unique character, that is presence of cell wall. And again, what Theodor Schwann, what he is telling in 1839. So he has said some hypothesis. What is that hypothesis? The cell body consists of what? Some cells. Inside the cell, some product is also present. So means he is telling not only thin outer covering is there, and also one of the plant cell has unique character, that is cell wall. And hypothesis, that is the body of animals and plants are composed of cells, and what he is telling, according to hypothesis, animals, plants, bodies made of cells and product of cells. And product of cells. Okay. So here in hypothesis, so according to hypothesis, that is according to Theodor Schwann, he is what he is concluding that the plant cell or any cell, if we take, they are made up of what? They are made up of thin outer, presence of plant cell having unique character, that is presence of cell wall. Okay. Then hypothesis, he has given some hypothesis here. That hypothesis, what it is indicating? So according to this indication, animals, plants have some what they are made up of cells, and not only cells, the cells also consist of what? They also consist of the some product of cells. So after this, both Sladen and Schwann both formulated what they have formulated about the cell theory. Both have formulated about the cell theory. Okay, let us see Rudolf Virchow. Okay, Rudolf Virchow. In 1855, he explained the cell. According to Rudolf Virchow, what he is telling is that is they are the cell are dividing. According to him, the cells are dividing, and also what he is telling, new cells are forming by the pre-existing cells. New cells are formed from the pre-existing cells, correct? Yes, because we know that according to Virchow, what he is telling, cells are capable of dividing, multiplying. Yes, we know that, yes, but during that time, so they will these all character and new cells are obtained. From where new cells are coming? Pre-existing cells. Okay, pre-existing cells. Now these pre-existing cells we are going to call it as that is unicellular e cellular. Unicellular e cellular. According to the pre-existing cells, that pre-existing cells we are going to call as unicellular e cellulae. Okay. Now, coming to the other character, this cell theory states that. So, very important. So, this cell theory states that. You may ask the question for 2 marks. What cell theory is stating? So 2 points each carry 1 mark. In NCERT they are given. So what it states that all cells are having all living organisms have all living organisms have what cells and also cell products. This is first point. Second point, all new cells which are forming, they are formed from the pre-existing cells. This is the statement. Okay. So the question they may ask you what statement is given by the cell theory according to which that is cell theory. What cell theory is stating? Cell theory is stating that all living organisms are made up of cells and product of cells, and all cells arise from the pre-existing cells. So this is very important. 1 or 2 marks they may ask you. Each carry half of or 1 mark. What cell theory is stating? Cell theory states that. Okay, cell theory, what it is stating? All living organisms have cells, and all living organisms are also made up of cell products. Okay, product of the cell. And second, all new cells, all cells are formed from the pre-existing cells. Okay, now 3 scientists worked or formulated cell theory, especially Matthias Friedel and Schwann formulated cell theory. According to cell, a very important question. One question they may ask cell theory on cell theory. Who all scientist? Matthias Sheldon in the year 1838. What he told is, so plants are composed of different varieties of the cells. Same simultaneously the next year, that is Theodor Schwann, what he is telling, cell is covered by thin layer, which now we are going to call it as plasma membrane, right? And plant cell also have the unique character. That unique character is what? There is a presence of some cell wall, okay, in the plant cell. That is also true. And the next, coming to the hypothesis, according to the Schwann, the hypothesis, animal and the plant body are all made up of cells. Okay, either it may be, and what he concluded earlier, plant cell he was telling, but either it may be plant or it may be animals. They are made up of product of the cell and cells also. And again, Rudolf Virchow in 1855, what he told, not only cells are present in human body, they are capable of dividing also, and they not only dividing, new cells are formed from the already existing cells. That is, pre-existing cells will give birth to the new cells. Okay, so which is that the formation of that new cell, we will term it as omnis cellula e cellula. Okay, according to the cell theory. So what cell theory is stating at last, after hearing all these, cell theory is stating, confirming two things. That is, all living organisms are made up of cell and product of cells. That is one point. And the new cells are produced from the pre-existing cells. This is concluded by, after in the cell theory statement, it is clear, that is two things. So this statement will be asked for 2 marks. Okay. Next, we will move to the overall view of the cell. Okay. Now we are going to see different types of cell. Okay. Now, after cell theory, overall view of the cell. Overall view of cell. So what cell consists of? Think as you don't know anything. How you are going to describe? Cell was there, cell was dividing, cell have some components, right? So according to this, so here the character, the cells are consisting of semi-fluid. Okay, the cells are consisting of semi-fluid, that semi-fluid inside the cell, it is having semi-fluid, which usually we will call it as cytoplasm. Okay, which we are going to call it as what? Cytoplasm. And these have cellular, where inside the cytoplasm, cellular activities and chemical reactions takes place. Inside the cytoplasm, what happens? Cellular activities and chemical reaction is taking place inside the cytoplasm. This is second point. Okay. So semi-fluid inside the cell, some semi-fluid is there. So that space inside the cell, we will call it as what? Cytoplasm. What is taking place inside the cytoplasm? One is some cellular activities are taking place, and another one is some chemical reaction is also taking place. Next, inside the cell, non-membrane bound organelles, non-membrane bound organelles is also present like ribosome. Ribosome is non-bounded, non-membrane bound organelles is present, which is called ribosome. Not only ribosome, we have chloroplast. Okay, then mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, nucleus, etc. Okay, so different organelles are present inside the cell. Slowly, what happens? We are moving inside the cell. Cell consists of cytoplasm. Inside the cytoplasm, ribosomes is present, which is not bounded by any organelles. Double membrane organ. Chloroplast is also present. Mitochondria is present. Nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes. So different organelles are present, which we are going to study in detail in this chapter. Okay. Now, after this, so let us see which is the smallest cell. So we have the cells which is smallest cell. That the smallest cell is mycoplasma. Mycoplasma, that is micrometer, 0.3 micrometer in size. Mycoplasma is the smallest cell. If we take largest isolated single cell, if we take largest isolated single cell is, that is ostrich. Ostrich egg. Ostrich egg, we are considering them as the largest isolated single cell. And after that, longest cell, if we take, longest cell is our nerve cell. Okay, neuron. Our nerve cell is the longest, which will be 100 micron. It is showing 100 micron long. Okay, so longest cell. Next, if we see the size of bacteria, so size of bacteria 3 to 5 micron. Okay, if we take size of the bacteria, which is showing 3 to 5 micrometer. Okay, and if we take RBC cells, human RBC, if we take human RBC, it will be 7.0 micrometer. Okay, these are the cells, okay, which is showing different types. And coming to the shape of the cell, if we see, so shape of the cell will be disc shape, polygonal shape, okay, disc shape, and some cell is a polygonal in shape, some cells are also irregular, some cells cells are spherical. Means the shape of the cell will be changed. Okay, they are going to be changed, polygonal or even cuboidal or even columnar, spherical, irregular. Okay, columnar, cuboidal, etc. Okay, so these are the different cells, different shapes. Okay, some are disc shaped, some are polygonal, some are irregular, some are spherical, some are columnar, some are cuboidal in nature. Okay, so what we have studied in the overall view of the and length. Okay, size of the bacteria will be 3 to 5 micrometer. Human RBC showing 7.0 micrometer, and the shape of the cell will be different disc shape, polygonal, irregular, spherical, columnar, and cuboidal structure we can see here. Okay, different structure are present here. Next. So let us see the structure of the cells. Let us see the different types of cells. Different shape of cells. First RBC. So if we see RBC, okay, RBC. So RBC structure, which will be like a showing disc shaped structure. Right, next. Coming to the WBC. This is the structure of WBC. Next, columnar epithelial. Like pillars, like structure, column like structure. So in this way also we can see the shape of the cells, long and narrow. Coming to the nerve cells. This is a nerve cell. Next one, trachea, which is elongated. This is C, this is B, this is E. Which is elongated, trachea, elongated cell. Elongated cell and mesophyll cells. These are mesophyll cells. These are all mesophyll cells. Okay, you can see here the structure, shape of the cell. Okay, RBC cell like a disc-shaped structure. WBC also you can see inside the cell. We can see some granules, which in further classes you will be studying about the components of blood. Trachea, which is like elongated, okay, pulled, elongated like the structure which is shape which is elongated, trachea, and a column-like structure which is columnar epithelium, and one more nervous cells, nervous system. We have longest cell which is a nerve cell, and mesophyll cells you can see in the spherical shape structure. Okay, different cells are of different shape here. Okay, different cells are different shape. Okay, so if we see other smallest, longest and all, again we will go for the next, that is prokaryotic cells. Okay, after overall view, the cells are divided into prokaryotic as well as the eukaryotic cell. On what basis we are dividing prokaryote and eukaryote? So prokaryotes are those which do not, as you know, and from higher classes you have studied the differences between prokaryotes as well as the eukaryotes. So if we take prokaryotes cell, so these prokaryote cells includes that groups which are like algae, okay, like bacteria group we can take here in prokaryotic cell, and also PPELO, mycoplasma, blue-green algae. So different types we can take here prokaryotes. Okay, so prokaryote is very simple. Okay, very simple. There is no complicated structure. There is no complicated functioning will be taking place. Very lower organisms are present like bacteria, blue-green algae, mycoplasma, and one more, that is PPLO, pluro pneumonia-like organism, PPLO. Okay, so these group will come under prokaryotic cell. If we take bacteria, bacteria are what? Microscopic. Only under microscope we can focus them. As you know, only under microscope we can focus. So bacteria are also present in different structure, different shape. like bacilli, one shape of the bacteria which is lactobacillus. In curd we can see lactobacilli, which will be rod shaped structure, shaped structure. Usually we will call it as bacilli. Okay, lactobacilli, because they are rod like structure. Other, if the bacteria are round in shape, that is coccus. Okay, if the bacteria are round in shape, we will call it as coccus. Okay, so rod-like structure, one more, coccus, that is a round structure, and in the form of bacteria are also present in the form of zigzag. Okay, zigzag manner. Then it is a vibrio. Okay, spiral. If they are present in the form of spiral, okay, we call it as spiral-like bacteria, especially vibrio cholera, the bacteria which causes the what? Cholera. We can see what? Coccus spherical, bacillus rod-like structure, vibrio, that is vibrio is irregular as well as spiral shaped structure we can see. The cells are also different and bacteria are also present in the different shapes. Okay. So next class we will start with the prokaryotes. Okay. Prokaryotes, what are the different examples, parts of the prokaryotic cell. After that we are moving to the eukaryotic cells. So be thorough with the plant cell as well as the animal cell. Thank you, students.